Yes, ma'am.
You remember last class before closing, I told this for you to think. Did you, not only you, anybody in the class can tell, take 2 minutes, then we'll go to the concluding part of sociological determinants, and then we can go ahead to the principles of curriculum planning. Anybody? So these are the sociological issues. You agree? Equality of educational opportunities. These need to be addressed at the curriculum level, so that every learner will be in a way of thinking of it, acting in the situation when we face it in the society. Education for diversity and inclusion. Education and language. Any one point you can take and give me 1 minute of your view about it. How is it finding a place, or why it should find a place in curriculum? Why are these considered under sociological determinants? Cultural pluralism. What happened? Yes.
Can I present on this
Yes,
point, ma'am?
please. May I know you please introduce yourself and then go ahead.
Ma'am, I'm Guru Rakshit and I'm going to present my views on cultural pluralism, that how it is a sociological issue and why it should be included in our curriculum.
Okay.
So basically, when we talk of the cultural pluralism, we already know that India is being a diversified country which has got a lot of different types of languages, cultures, and it is diversified on several other aspects. So when we are thinking of developing a curriculum, or when we are talking of a curriculum, we must take in consideration about that specific areas where that curriculum is to be applied. That what is the cultural diversity of that area. In India, as we have got a diversified culture, so whenever the materials or the texts which are to be included in the curriculum in that area should be varied. It should not be prefixed by the central government of India that it is the only thing which should be taught in all the schools, in all the curriculums from all the classes, but it should be the choice of the state to include their cultures, their diversity in their textbook, so that it can more relate, or the students can.
Guru
Yes,
Rakshit, just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
Just a second. Organize your thought. Just a second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes. So I was saying that it should be more related to the state. Means it should be more connected, so that the student while reading those can easily relate to their outside of the surrounding. They can feel more connected, and it will enhance their learning also.
True.
So that's what about the
Okay,
cultural pluralism.
very good. Thank you. You or anybody can say, how is it being addressed? So you are saying the importance of it as a dimension, why it should find a place in curriculum. Now you just give me 1 or 2 ways, you or anybody else can come up. How are we addressing this issue of cultural pluralism in our curriculum?
Ma'am, I think one of the way which is being included is that mother tongue based education.
Yeah. Education, under education and language also we can think of this. See, we have a national curriculum framework at the national level, and that is a broad guideline which each state will have its own curriculum framework. And if you see the syllabus and the textbook, of late, if you see the new textbooks, there is so much of option for creating a content for the knowledge or the syllabus under the broad title content. The local knowledge can be utilized there so that the culture of the place gets recognition in the curriculum. Is it not happening? Nothing is imposed at the top. It's a broad curriculum framework. The state makes a curriculum framework for keeping the state needs, the state resources, the local context, the state prepares. This is one of the way it is being addressed, one of the way. But I agree, it may not be fully justified. Okay, anyway, thank you for your thought. Anybody else? Equality of educational opportunity, we were talking before others joined, before time when some of you were there. It's a sociological issue. So somebody was telling how in the present context, this online learning is not reaching everybody. So it is a concern today. Are we able to provide equal educational opportunities to all when we are using online teaching learning? Who is deprived now?
Ma'am,
Yes.
the lowest with the children.
Just a minute. I want your name.
To the economically.
Sorry. I want your name.
Ma'am, Neha.
Neha.
Namrata.
Okay, Neha.
Ma'am, Neha Namrata.
Huh? Namrata.
Neha, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. Tell Neha.
Ma'am, actually, like the service which are being done right now, it has been seen that many students, they cannot afford a smartphone for the online classes, as a result of which, like, they are lagging behind in the studies. And ma'am, at the same time, like even some schools don't take the initiative, like, to do some online classes also.
Okay, so one is you are telling the economic deprivation is created because they cannot get, those who are economically not able to buy a phone or gadget, they are not able to get this opportunity. So that way they are getting deprived of this educational opportunity. One group you are talking is the economically backward group. Anybody else other than the economic part?
The network issues can also be there, like depending on the geography where they live.
True. So second one is the
that can
geographical
be an issue for online.
Yes. Correct. Yeah, the geographic issues, the remote areas, the hilly areas, heavy rainfall areas. So they are also deprived of educational opportunities. Who else? Okay, economic and geographic, two things, well taken.
Ma'am, one more point is there. Ma'am, if some student is interested in art, sports, or in dance, so if he cannot get trained properly in their genres respectively.
Okay, interests are not catered to, interests and aptitudes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one more.
Ma'am, identification of the innate talent of the students.
Yeah.
if the online class goes for a long process, so identification of their innate talent cannot be done properly.
Correct, correct. So the students' potential may not be exposed at all, because we are all social learners, and society and peer group teachers have a great role in helping some younger students to form their identity, because they do not know what they are good at. They need the peer group, they need the elders other than the family members. So that opportunity is curtailed totally if we are continuing this. Okay, right now at present the opportunity is for economically deprived and geographically deprived. Any other category you can think of? Of course, you said what you said is the not getting enough opportunity for those talents and inner potential to come out through this mode. It is getting affected. But I want to know the category who are not able to get benefit from of this at all, or struggling to get benefit out of this online. Any one or two you say, then we'll go ahead.
Ma'am, children with special needs.
May I know you? What's your name?
Binayak.
Hmm?
Binayak.
Binayak. Yeah. Children with special needs. Yes, very true. Especially who? With children with special need also is a diverse group. Among the children with special needs, there are very specific groups who are finding this very, very difficult. Who are they? Anybody? Vinayak, you can only think of. Do all children with special needs have the difficulty of listening online class or attending to online class? Or is
Ma'am,
there
like mentally retarded students or visually impaired students.
okay. For the visual impairment, auditory input is there. If the auditory input gets disturbed, distorted, they will have difficulty. More than them, the difficulty is for children with hearing impairment, because they cannot put the stimuli together and perceive holistically so easily, the auditory stimuli. And another category is those who do not have attention. Span of attention is very less. So in this platform, they just cannot attend to. They listen to 5 minutes. They will look into the slides for 5 minutes. That's all. Because there is no control. They can just go away. The total, that disciplinary boundary of sitting in a class, my friends are sitting, my teachers are here, I have to sit for half an hour, that restriction is not there. So those who do not have span of attention for a, say, minimum of half an hour, I look at half an hour as a minimum span of attention at our age, at your age, for example. But some may not have, they find it very difficult to concentrate. So all are at, so many people are at disadvantage because of this. So the regular classroom could be a better opportunity to bridge these gaps. But there may be other gaps which are coming. So I want one of you to say, is there any positives of online learning? The good factors. I have found out some, but I'll not tell now. Okay, keep thinking. Secularism and curriculum. Anyone want to say how this dimension has a say in the curriculum planning and development? Okay, this is again for you. You continue to think. because as we go ahead also there's a lot of discussion around this. So let us just conclude this sociological determinants of curriculum, looking at certain issues from society that influence the curriculum, the societal issues. So changes occurring in the societal structure. As the time progress, we are seeing lot of changes in the societal structures. And that has an influence on curriculum. That is why periodically the curriculum gets reviewed and renewal of curriculum takes place very often. Say 5 years once we have to look at the curriculum, because as the societal structure change, that change which is in the society, the structure of society, that has to come in the curriculum. You can think of examples for all these things. Say, for example, the family structure has changed tremendously. The economy, the community, it has changed a lot. See, in textbooks, I remember examples like a vegetable cutter. When it comes, either the teacher will use, or sometimes the textbook also says, even now I see some textbooks where it says mother is cooking in the kitchen. When the social structure has changed, should we still have that? I don't deny that mother is cooking in the kitchen, or father is cooking, or grandmother or a cook is cooking. That is different. But should we still go by the same stereotypical statements in the textbook and also in the teaching process? When we are giving vegetable cutter, say for example, simple machine, when we are talking, vegetable cutter is one of the examples which we give. And the book also says, see your mother using vegetable cutter in the kitchen. Now, the concept of kitchen also we need not use, because it is not only kitchen where vegetable cutter is used. There may be a home where they have a small roadside shop of selling food, and they may not have a cooking at home. So that child will get terribly disturbed, because that child may not have seen the use of vegetable cutter in the kitchen. Rather, the child might have seen the use of vegetable cutter in the roadside shop which they have. These terminologies will have to change because there is change in the society. Many things, the structural aspect of society have gone tremendous change, and the influence in curriculum. I see it when I see textbooks, when I see students in internship teaching. I see a lot of these things still finding the old pattern of thought still in the textbook, and also in the teaching practice we have not changed. We can be very unbiased, non-prejudiced when we are using statements like this, because there's lots of structural changes have happened in the society. Transmission of culture as one of the social issue, because we know lots of cultures are dying, because all are trying to come to the mainstream culture. The global culture is in practice today with reference to food, dressing, the lifestyle. So when this is the present social system or the social existence, we have to take care of protecting, preserving, and transmitting culture in the society, because culture is an asset to the society. So that issue has to be addressed in the curriculum. It can be in any subject, either in the framework, syllabus, textbook, transaction. All these areas, this issue of transmission of culture, we have to keep. I don't know if you can think of examples. There are certain cultures in our country, and India is such a huge country geographically. It's so vast. with, see, Kashmir to Kerala and Rajasthan to Arunachal Pradesh, if we think, as you travel 30, 40 kilometers, we are seeing a new culture, new language, new lifestyle. How do we preserve all these things? This is our asset. This is our contribution to the future. How do we preserve this curriculum is one of the way through which it can be preserved. One is the local specificity, the cultural pluralism earlier you were giving example of, but transmission of culture should be one of the objectives of curriculum at the level of curriculum planning itself. How can we do this? When we talk of principles, I think we can talk of more example. If anyone wants to give an example, can go ahead. Any cultural practice which you have and you feel it is dying. Certain food which is elaborate to cook, but which is very, very nutritious. Certain food preserving practices wherein the nutrients are preserved for off season. Lots of such things, medicines. Some cultures practice certain traditional medicines. There's a lot of wisdom in the culture which get destroyed. If you remember, or if you can relate to the present policy, the present policy gives a lot of stress on preserving the culture and taking benefit out of the cultural practices. There is so much of science in it. There is so much of social values in it. If you see, there are certain small communities, they have their own culture where they have certain festivals, which is very funny. We don't know the reason behind the celebration of such festivals, but it has such a strong root in holding a social group together, the cohesiveness of the group, family. The culture of family is inbuilt in certain cultural celebrations. So unless we preserve all this and take it further, it has to get transmitted. So curriculum has to look into these issues and find a place in the education system. Certain social problems, the social concerns. How does it have an influence on curriculum? What are the one problem, social problem, can you say? Are you there in the class? Because I'm not able to see when I start presenting. Manibhushan?
Hello.
Yeah, you should talk in between. Otherwise, I feel I have my connectivity is lost. I'm talking to the machine only. I don't see the life or brain behind the machine. One social problem.
And cultural diversity, if we are like culture we are talking about, okay, so there are certain practices like which are like limited to like our town. You can see, say like merely like we celebrate like people tree, like celebrating people tree. It's a very like tradition is old, but now on we see like very few people do it. Okay, we know it has medicinal value, it has other value, it gives us O2 and in huge amount it can give, but these practices, okay, like worshipping, protecting, are slowly like going down. It is considered to be like traditional, okay, and like modern people, like we are think like ourselves as a modern people, so with modernity we are just keeping it in the traditional view and we are not following it, okay. So it has an impact, okay, like a tradition, a festival, or like a particular day which was celebrated with it. Now like very few people are doing it, like in the childhood, okay, like I used to see like many women used to come and like used to worship it like 15, 20, 30. But now if I go it,
Yeah.
hardly one.
True. These are all so useful and important for our society. A group living, sharing with each other, showing concern to the others. These are missing. Actually, culture has all these social requirements inbuilt in it. I remember in our local area, there is one tribal festival which is celebrated in May. May is the time when all the harvest, because I belong to an agriculture community where all the agricultural work is done. May is considered as one of the periods where, the next June, July, the sowing, and the other next, when the rain comes, we start again with the practice. So usually May is a time which is till April, we have other picking of coffee, pepper, all those things will be there. May is relatively, and we have certain small tribal groups, very limited. I'm afraid their number is diminishing and their culture is not there. When we were young, one there, lots of festivals are there. I was just thinking of one festival when you're talking of a social concern where people used to go out and all. Here, the youngsters of the family used to dress up like you cannot recognize them who they are. Okay, they dress up like they color their face with something. They'll all the leaves and all the they live in jungles. Actually, they put the branches and all that around them. They put it in their body, so you cannot identify who they are. And they have a it's not, they use it as a musical instrument. It is found in forest. It's actually a jungle bottle god. Bottle god, you call it lauki here. It's a vegetable. Okay, you're listening?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
When it gets dried, you can shake it and it makes beautiful noise. So it's a musical instrument for the tribal people there, that particular tribal group. And they hold it in their hand. They shake it in a very beautiful fashion to make different musical tone from that, and they dance. And they start finding fault with everybody who they come across, and they tell about the fault of that person. We were so afraid, this big group coming, we used to rush inside the home, because they'll scold, they'll tell your faults. So we used to be so much scared of this group coming. Later I was thinking, they masquerade themselves. They don't reveal their identity, and they take all privilege of finding the fault of the others. And that is the reason the next, we feel we should not make any mistakes. If we do some mistake, these people during the festival will find fault and tell in front of everybody. So I was thinking, such a beautiful way of keeping you in a moral framework. And that is the only day they get this privilege. Otherwise, they are always inside their work and the jungle. They come to the town area. Only this day they come, they are allowed everywhere, no restriction for them. They come, and it's such a beautiful festival. I feel nowadays the youngsters also may not do it. And it is for the whole society. It is not only for that tribal group. Even the upper class who used to, during long back, around 50 years back, there was the gap between the tribal group and the others. But now it's not much there. Probably this is one reason. There are some good things also that these are there. But I feel, though we develop, modernization is happening, some of the cultural practices we should keep intact, because there are reasons. They are maintaining social order and the dependence on each other, the love and respect to each other's community, culture, language. All these things are embedded in these small practices. You can think of your own area and a practice and think how these practices are missing now, and how is it affecting the society? When this practice is not there, it is definitely the society is deteriorating. This is one of the reasons people don't have any fear of doing any mistake now. Openly, so it is sometimes, doing a wrong thing also has become a norm because there's nobody to control it. Our culture has excellent ways of putting us in a frame and maintaining law and order and happiness in the society. Anyway, social problems I was just discussing, it is like, see, terrorism. What else? Corruption. These are the social problems. Can we not, in a very subtle way, address these things in the curriculum? It could be language or social science or in science, anywhere you think how these issues can come into the curriculum and alert a person in order to reduce the problems of society. Several things are there. I'm just giving you the very obvious ones as corruption and terrorism. The higher ones, there are very small, in a very small society also, certain problems are existing which are not finding answer at all. Why? In the name of education, we are saying we are getting better, we are improving, we are much ahead. Unless we find an answer to an existing social problem, the education becomes meaningless. That is why the curriculum has a responsibility of addressing this social problem in a very minute way, very subtle way. It can happen in several ways. You think of your own textbook and your own way of teaching in your transaction in the classroom, how we can address these things. I want you to take an example and think of these things, how you build in these factors into the curriculum. It could be in the content, it could be in the picture which is given in the textbook, it could be the way we are transacting the lesson, the existing conditions, problems and needs of the society, the present need of society. Digital literacy is the present need of society because most of the offices are not accepting direct payment or certificates. Everything is soft copy today. That's a need of the society. So that has to come in the curriculum right from the school days so that the citizen becomes digitally empowered. When the person functions in the society, they do not have any difficulty in functioning in the present day society. An agent of transmission of basic values. Prepare the child for global and world society. The values which can be communicated through the curriculum. Every content in the textbook has embedded in it lots of values, but we don't make it very obvious. And because we are concentrating more on the content part and the rote learning, the values are missed. So the embedded values which are there in the curriculum has to be propagated and prepare the child for the world society, global society. It's not enough that we are at the local level itself, but the local values and the local resources become a base based on which we can be contributing to the larger society. Lead to the development of genuine we feeling. The sociological determinants ultimately are there inbuilt into the curriculum to develop the feeling, because as some of you rightly said, this kind of learning before the class we were discussing, this type of class where we are learning individually. Individually, you may gain knowledge, you may give a very good assignment, you may write the exam, you may do very well at the individual level. But where is the we feeling? Where is the sharing, learning from each other, being beneficial to others? So this feeling we are missing in this is just a reference to the present context and our discussion before the class. Otherwise, that we feeling and responsibility towards the well-being of society, responsibility towards personal well-being and well-being of society are the core of sociological determinants of curriculum. That is the main reason why we are talking of considering sociological determinant in the curriculum planning and curriculum development. We are almost coming to the end of it. Any one or 2 minute reflection you can give, and then next class I'll take care of your suggestion. I'll open a Google Classroom and send the code. Please join, and the next class content I will put it in the classroom. You can go through that and then come to the class next Thursday.
Good morning, ma'am. Ma'am, I want to share an experience about that losing
Sorry,
tradition.
I'm really sorry. I
And
missed to look at you. Can I
ma'am,
know?
I'm Basna Bhakta, ma'am.
Basna?
Yes, I will like to share some experience. Like you were talking about losing tradition. So in Japan, in their schools, before they go to their class, after the prayer, they make green tea by their own hands, like through the traditional way. They plug the green tea and then grind it
Oh,
and then cook it literally in front of them. Like they make it themselves and then drink it, and then they go to the class for their
okay.
classes. So
Oh, so
like that, if you ask me for in changes in curriculum so that we can um, again refill our tradition, so we can also include these kinds of things in our curriculum also, like planting trees. Most of the classes, like students are taught about different plants like gram or pulses, crops like that, but they don't know practically how they will sow it and will grow it. I'm not saying that they should grow by themselves in
no,
the
they should
school.
really know we can grow
Yeah,
also.
yeah, actually we can grow also. Like I was saying that in Japan they also have a land where they grow the orange trees by themselves. They sow the seeds into the soil and they grow by themselves, and then they pluck it by themselves. Like uh,
Yeah,
it is a way of the learning, I guess, and it's a
of
better
course,
way of learning where they will
definitely.
actually realize and practically feel what they're doing.
Mm. No, even the tea example which you are telling, it has so
Yes,
many things in it, you know. It is
yes, ma'am.
doing in their own hand. You know how important is using our body in our learning.
Yes,
Nowadays,
ma'am.
we are not using our hands other than holding this and doing like this. Our fingers are restricted to movement of
Yes,
this.
ma'am.
We are not
Yes, ma'am.
using our body. See, Gandhiji, when he
Like we
spoke
have,
about,
sorry, ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Like we have periods like CPWD and games period, but in all those
Mm,
classes, we people doesn't do much things,
mm, mm,
and
mm,
most of the times, teachers don't
mm,
teach us much.
mm,
Like they take
mm,
1 or 2 classes and then they
mm.
leave the children like that to do their own work. And usually students play most of the times.
Correct. Playing is
I
also
don't know
good
about
enough, but
any
of
other
course,
schools, but in
you know,
our school it
this,
happens like that only.
yeah. No, no, this is very useful, you know, in curriculum. It is the content being included and giving an opportunity to doing. The tea example which you gave has several things in it. One is preserving their culture, and isme good health is also there. The very
Yes,
fresh leaves which they are taking and boiling and drinking, it gives a
definitely.
freshness to them. The freshness, the organic food has lot of health benefits. Anyway, we can talk about I can share one next class. I'm going to share my school experience, the kind of curriculum. You know, I really credit my teachers for that. The experience they used to give. See, the textbook curriculum, everything is not in the hands of the teacher, but giving experience is in our hands. how we can create an experience based on the content, keeping that in the background. I'll share one or two of my experiences of learning. If you have also, you can share, because we have enough time now. Maybe it's time for you to go. I'll tell the plan for my class also. In the next class, let us talk about the plan for our class, and then we'll share some of our experiences of curriculum and what is our future thought for curriculum, because you are the youngsters who are going to really have the lead role in planning, implementing curriculum. Let us think what should come in, what should be the better way of planning and implementing curriculum. Okay, it's time now. Let us leave and let us continue the discussion in the next class.